Hello, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. So, if you've been kind of following along the last couple days of these excerpts, went through this 2 week energy since the last eclipse of just kind of, I was already kind of in a semi solitude, but now, like, really, it's like spirit pushed me into this really deep solitude to really like dig out the last parts of like doing shadow work. And I'm kind of like on that other side now where my rebirth is in progress, going into that second life. And just a lot of different things coming up that the universe really wanted me to like dig a little bit deeper on. And when I said semi solitude before, I was still, going around a lot of other, I say a lot, going around other people, you know. Um, but this, I was just for 2 weeks, just really staying by myself. And that's why I've said before that you may find on your journey that you do spend a lot of time alone. And don't let anyone else judge you on that. There's a reason for that. And I said before, if you take any of the um, great ascended masters, they all spent time in solitude. Jesus went into the, what do you call it, the desert, not the desert, the wilderness for 40 days, 40 nights, as it says. Buddha had gone under I forget what kind of tree it was, and away from his family, because he's from a prominent family, went away from his family. Um, Muhammad, of Islam religion, who started that, went away into a cave. And they say Angel Gabriel came and, talked to him or whatever it was. But there was always this solitude. And understand that you are mastering the ascension. Okay. Um, Not everyone is going to, first of all, choose to wake up in this lifetime, but also everyone's not going to choose to complete their ascension journey. It's hard. It's extremely hard. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, you name it, it's very extremely difficult. But you chose, right, this path in this lifetime. So, as you know, I walk every day just to kind of keep my exercise up. And when I first started, after I left my 9 to 5 job in June, like I would only go like kind of like around the corner. It would take me like maybe 30 minutes or something. Because living out here, it's like wide open. And so just to go around the corner takes 30 minutes. And then I went a little bit further and then a little bit further. And then my Saturday morning walks have been one that has taken me about just over an hour. And I was like so extremely happy with having accomplished that every Saturday. But I'm like something saying, okay, push yourself a little bit more this time. So today, um, my walk was even um, longer, and being proud of myself for accomplishing that, but also thinking of what I've accomplished over the last 9 years. If you saw my last video, I did this 9 year cycle of thinking where I was 9 years ago and where I am now. Like there's like no comparison. But what I wanted to talk about in this video is about, what was I calling this? Yeah, the unnecessary, I can't even read my writing, aspects of ourselves. Oh, books. Okay. So as I was walking, sorry about that. I can't even read my own writing. Um, oh, I know what I also wanted to say is there's this simplicity that we kind of get into as you're on your journey because we're leaving everything of our old life behind. And um, having kind of rid myself of everything physically that I once had, like 3 times over, I've lost everything that I had previously. And I'm saying to spirit, please no more. But then saying to myself, like if what I've accumulated since being here, since, getting to this destination, if I lost everything today, um, would I be all right? And could not even so much of losing it, because people could lose things in a fire or whatever, but am I willing to give everything up? And that's just a question you can ask yourself is, if you look around at all your physical things that you have right now, would you be willing to give all of those things up? Because you're on this journey, you view things so much differently than you did before. None of these material things really matter. But anyway, I usually listen to like, podcasts or video when I'm walking. And I guess the last week I said, you know what, I'm not going to do that because it's like I don't like the ear things. You put what did the wireless things because they always fall out of my ears. So I usually always have to have the wires, and they still slip out of my ears. So at least I can't lose them, right? And so, but I'm always adjusting them when I'm walking, and I'm like, oh, I said, let me just go for my walk without the earplugs and just take in nature. I mean, this time of year, the leaves have changed here in New England, and it's like absolutely gorgeous, like just observe and hear the crows crowing at me and, the people passing by and saying good morning and the squirrels squirreling around and just all those little things that I wasn't concentrating on because I had these earplugs in. Anyway, you also have time now to really think about other things when you're not listening to people. So people can, like I say, you're in solitude, but people can come in other ways also, not just physical people. People can come in from, media and anyway, you know what I'm saying. um, I started thinking about this change that I've gone through and how different I have become in these 9 years since I started this. And I almost like kind of said it's almost like sitting here during this period of time in solitude is kind of almost like having this huge bookshelf of books, aspects of yourself. Well, each book is a part of your life, a part of who you were, a part of your personality. So one book may be on your personality, your how you approach this, or one may be on your friends, one may be on your family, your work, how your different emotions, all different aspects of what really is kind of builds up your personality or your ego. And it's almost like the Akashic records, right? We all have if you know about what the Akashic records are, it's our whole life, so our souls, lives that have been put into kind of a, what do you want to say, a book. So lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, it's all kind of written down and supposedly when I don't know, I haven't gone back in a while. When you return back after um, living this life, and you kind of have this review of everything that you've done in this life and understand everything that you've done in previous lives. And that's kind of how karma comes into play, whether you've conquered that karma or if you need to replay certain aspects or things like that. Anyway, I'm getting into too much. But it's like at the end of this journey, now understanding, now like I haven't been through this before that I know of, not in this lifetime anyway. And that was the reason why the universe has told me you need to tell your story because there's going to be other people going through similar experiences, going through their ascension that need someone to refer to, like that has had this experience. So as I say, sometimes I think, oh, I'm done with this. I'm done with this, and then something else happens. I'm like, I'm not done yet, but I know I'm almost now at the end. I get it now. Like I'm there, like right on the finish line. Um, Getting ready to cross into that second life. But anyway, going back to the books, you kind of are put into this period of kind of solitude where it's kind of meant for you to take each one of those books off the bookshelf and read through it. And that's a book about you, who you were in your first life, and then saying, are these things that I used to do, or who I used to be, or things that I used to want a part of who I am or who I'm becoming now? And in some of the books, you might have to rip out pages, like it no longer applies. And in other books, and then you can put that book back on the shelf. Like some of these things still do apply. And in other books, you're not going to put back on that bookshelf. You're going to clear that space. And there's also going to be new books that you're going to eventually put on that bookshelf of your life, of this new life that's coming into play. I was thinking, for example, um, I love fashion, I love clothes. I used to have an enormous amount of clothes. And um, it's almost like the universe said, okay, you got too much, so we're taking that all away from you. But anyway, after I lost everything, it was kind of like slowly rebuilding. But now, kind of looking at it more so of who I am now. Whereas before, I was basing it on a lifestyle that I thought I was supposed to live, yeah. Um, Influenced by other people in my life, influenced by the work that I did. I worked on Wall Street. You had to dress a certain way, show yourself in a certain way. I know people usually say, "Oh, you worked on Wall Street," and then they look at my hair and they're like, "You worked on Wall Street?" And I'm like, I didn't have this back back then. Um, my hair was cut in a bob, straight, just like you wouldn't even recognize me. But it was something about when I left in 2019, there was like I needed this freedom. I was gonna have to go get my hair done, every week, and it was just a big hassle. And now I could take care of it on my own. And then like letting go of certain um, demands or expectations that other people have on you, you know? Um, and when I look back now and I take one of those books off of the shelf and I say, that was the person I used to be, and I can't believe that I allowed this person to talk to me this way, or that I was expected to do this because of that. Like, um, because of my religion, my sisters treated me a certain way when I decided to leave, and that I allow them to treat me that way. Whereas now, I would never have allowed them to say the things and do the things and that they did to me. I don't get emotional now. But we all have experienced things like that, especially if you're on this path, if you're on this journey, you totally understand what I'm saying. Um, but there's, again, this period of time where you have to go through all of those books that you've accumulated in your first life, because I always say you're having two lives within one lifetime, and taking each one of those books. That's why the universe kind of puts you in this downtime for this, after you've finished going through your main journey. Like I say, I was on this 5-year physical journey that I was getting from point A to point B. If you've been following along, you see everything that I went through. But now, having got to my destination, there needs to be like this life review, right? Because usually you do that once you pass over, you do this life review. But having done this life review now, at this point, to say, okay, let me look at what I did in my past life that's still within this lifetime, to say, what do I want to change? And what do I still want to take with me? And there's not a whole lot, you can't change who you are. I can't change, myself physically. I could change maybe my looks or my weight or things like that. But emotionally, how can I change myself? Um, Spiritually, right? Stepping it up. Um, I said talked about physically, right? What else is there? um, my personality wise has changed so much. And is it emotionally, physically, mentally? Oh, mentally too. I was thinking the other day too, somebody had mentioned something about depression. And I remember like after me and my ex-husband had split, I went into like a real depressive mode and was taking medications for it, and it kind of numbs you out, and like you really don't have any feelings, like when you're numbed out like that. And but please, if you feel like you need to go see someone, and then believe me, it helped me during that time. But when you get to this point on your spiritual path, it's almost like you're able to self-heal yourself, and you know who you are. You know that you are one with the divine, and that anything that needs healing within yourself, you can do it, right? And I'm all over the place with this one, right? I've been hitting all over the place. But I'm not going to talk too much longer. I'm going to probably end it now. But I just wanted to say that where I am now is so far away from where I was 9 years ago when I first started this cycle. And if you're on this path, maybe you're here, maybe you're almost getting here, maybe you're just starting. But yes, the journey is difficult, but is it worth it? Like, I would not change it whatsoever. As hard as my journey, I mean, I was homeless on the street, hungry, no food, just really devastating circumstances. And who I've become now is, I can't even describe, I'm going to get emotional, is so much deeper and better than the person that others expected me to be, or how I was formed to be from my environment and family and religion and those around me. Like, that does not even, not, that's not even a part of who I am now. All right. I am going to leave it here. And again, thanks for being here. If you would like to reach out to me for, any kind of spiritual guidance, talk to me about your own journey. If you would like a reading, there is a link below to book time with me. And I'll see you in the next one.